begin shortly. Please take your places and silence your cell phones. Please rise while the colors are posted.
Ready? Pull. Post. Colors.
Former Congressman Michael McNulty will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our opening prayer.
Almighty God, you who are the source of our life, life and purpose, in your presence alone we find help, hope, and life. Guide us during this hour of fellowship and reflection and ground us with a human reminder of your love for all those whose lives we touch this day. For it is in your glory we gather and offer our prayer.
Amen.
Face. All right. Pull.
Please be seated. Good morning. I'm Peter K. Goebel, the Director of the Rensselaer County Veterans Service Agency. We have gathered here this morning to honor a deceased Rensselaer County veteran for the month of February, and that veteran is Donald J. Keeler. Representing his family this morning are members of the Rensselaer County Honor a Deceased Veteran Committee. Also with us today to honor our Veteran of the Month, representing Congressman Paul Tonko, Colleen Williams, representing Congressman Antonio Delgado, Bianca Hadi, former Congressman Michael McNulty, New York State Assemblyman Jake Ashby, New York State Assemblyman John McDonald III, Rensselaer County Executive Steve McLaughlin, Rensselaer County Legislative Chair Mike Stammel, former Chairman of the Legislative Veterans Committee Tom Walsh, representing Rensselaer County District Attorney Mary Pat Donnelly, Susan Mullen-Caliphate, Colonel Milt Kelly, the commander of the Waterville Arsenal, and Mr. Matt Day, and County Legislators Dan Casal, Mark Fleming, Tom Grant, and Carol Weaver. As we are all well aware, Memorial Day and Veterans Day are special days to remember all of our veterans. This program was created to help us honor our veterans all year round. To us here in Rensselaer County, every day is Veterans Day. The Rensselaer County Honor a Deceased Veteran Program represents veterans organizations throughout the entire county. This includes members of the American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, Veterans of Lansingburg, Military Order of the Purple Heart, Marine Corps League, Veterans of Foreign Wars, Korean War Veterans, Tri-County Council of Vietnam-era Veterans, Heroes at Home, Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, Vietnam Veterans of America, AMVETS, and the Rensselaer County Veterans Service Agency. I will now ask Mike Stammel, Rensselaer County Legislative Chair, and the assembled county legislators to come forward to tell us about our honored veteran for the month of February, Donald J. Keeler.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning. My name is Michael Stammel, and I am the chairman of the Rensselaer County Legislature. And I am proud to welcome you to our 1921 to Wilbert and Alice Teal Keeler. Donald and his brother Holman and sister Thelma grew up in Troy, and Donald attended the public schools in Troy. After finishing his education, Donald took a job as a machinist with the Beat Line Machine and Tool Company in Albany. Donald signed up to join the United States Navy in Albany on December 10, 1943. And on March 8, 1944, Donald left his job at the Beat Line and entered into active service in the United States Navy. He began his recruit training at the Great Lakes Naval Training Center in Illinois and went to get ship repair training in San Diego, California. Donald's active duty took him to the Pacific Theater, where he was stationed in the Philippines and in Guam. During this time, the United States was involved in the Philippine campaign and the Second Battle of Guam and other important battles on the path to victory in World War II. On May 25, 1946, Machinist Mate Second Class Keeler was honorably discharged from the United States Navy at Little Beach at Long Island, New York, where he was awarded the American Campaign Medal, the Asiatic Pacific Medal, Campaign Medal, the World War II Victory Medal, and the Philippine Liberation Medal, ribbon, After the honorable discharge, Donald returned to life in Troy. On Christmas Eve in 1947, Donald married Joyce Bentley in Arlington, Vermont. They would have 2 daughters, Holly and Indid, and 2 sons, Zane and Jay. Donald used his machinist skills to take a job with the W&L.E. Gurley Company in Troy, just a few blocks from where we are right now. Gurley is known for around the world at making precision measuring equipment, scales, and compasses. Later, Donald worked at the General Electric in Schenectady, and finally as a manager and operator of a trailer park in Niskayuna. Donald and Joyce relocated to Maine in 1975. Donald was licensed ham radio operator. He enjoyed flying and held a pilot's license for many years before he began to lose his eyesight. As eventually blindness set in, Donald spent his time with his animals and took up the hobby of beekeeping. Most of all, Donald enjoyed being with his grandchildren. Donald was also an active member of the St. Francis Congregation of Winthrop, Maine, the Maxwell VFW Post number 40, and the Old Engine Society of Experimental Aircraft Association, Chapter 86, and the Friends of the Combosi Watershed, and the Auburn Radio Society, and active radio operators, and a Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Defense Protocol as established by FEMA. Sadly, on March 4, 2005, Donald passed away, leaving behind his beloved wife Joyce, his daughter Holly and Indin, and his sons Zane and Jay, 7 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren, his sister Thelma and brother Holman. Donald is buried in Maine Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Augusta. Donald was part of what is now known as the Greatest Generation. These Americans grew up during the Great Depression. Many of them fought in World War II and developed the ability to survive, solve problems, and make do with what they had to raise a family. We owe this generation a debt that we cannot easily repay. Today, we are grateful for Donald Keeler's family to be here today and representatives, and we appreciate the fact that they allow us to honor his life and service to our great country. A man with many talents, that's all I can say, a man with many talents. With that, we would...
Usually I have a lot to say there. Usually we have a large number of the family members here, but unfortunately they're not here today. Our Veterans Committee is sitting in for the family, and we appreciate that. And I'm going to present this to you. I usually like to bust on the Navy because he's a Navy man, and but it's not any fun there with nobody here to listen to it other than us. But there's probably some Navy guys out there who listen to me, though. But anyway, Don will be placed out on the wall outside here with all our other deceased veterans, and Donald John Keeler, and it's signed by our Chairman Mike Stamel. And I also want to thank Ken Harrington for letting me sit in for him every month there. Ken's had a rough couple of months there, and I don't know how he's doing now.
He's doing okay.
He's doing good. I know he had, when his wife passed in last month, and he was in the hospital with pneumonia, so he had it rough. Anyway, I'll make, will you come up there with me?
Sure, you go first.
Okay.
Want me to hold that for you? You got it. Thank you for standing here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will now ask our Rensselaer County Executive, Steve McLaughlin, to come forward.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning, everyone. It's honored to be here this morning to join with our colleagues in federal and state and local governments, and Colonel Kelly from the Arsenal, and Congressman McNulty, who certainly was instrumental and really got these started. And thank you guys for sitting in. Appreciate that. A little different not having a family member here, of course, but the important thing is that we take a moment to honor Donald and what he did, and how he helped as part of that greatest generation. And many of them are starting to pass on, and many have passed on, but without them, I don't think the country would be close to where it is today, or the world for that matter. And interesting that Donald was a machinist. Colonel Kelly and I were just talking about that, how hard it is to find a machinist nowadays, and what a valuable skill that is, and it was valuable back in the 40s as well, as we were defending the world. So, and then looking through Don's bio as a pilot, certainly something I'm very familiar with, and maybe nothing worse for a pilot than losing their eyesight. So I'm sure for him to have to deal with that was probably a pretty hard blow to take, to have to stop flying, but it looks like he just picked up and carried on, and like many of that generation did, probably without any complaint at all, just kind of picked up and moved on and did other pursuits, including beekeeping, which can't be easy if you can't see, but he was able to do that as well, and then turned his attention to radio operation, which he could do without sight. So just sounds like a terrific guy, and we're lucky to be able to honor him here today. Thank you.
I will now ask Colleen Williams, representing Congressman Paul Tonko, and Bianca Hadi, representing Congressman Antonio Delgado, to come forward.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning, everybody. I'll keep my remarks brief, as I know there are many of us who would like to speak this morning. First and foremost, it's a pleasure, as always, to gather with our local elected officials, our state elected officials. Thank you for the work that you do every day. Peter and Lonnie, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you for the work that you do here for our veterans in Rensselaer County. To Congressman McNulty, thank you for beginning this wonderful tradition. It is an honor for Congressman Tonko, and I'll speak for Antonio Delgado's office as well, Congressman Delgado's office, excuse me, that we enjoy and really take pride in continuing this tradition. So thank you for that. And to all of our veterans assembled here today, thank you for your service and sacrifice to our nation. Regardless of the fact that Donald's family is not here to join with us, it's a good opportunity to thank the committee for the work that they do every month with selecting the veterans who we honor. So thank you for doing that. I'm sure it's not an easy task. And to highlight what is considered just the duty of that soldier to either enlist, or whether they were drafted, to serve their country and to come back home and to continue to serve the nation in other ways, is something that our veterans oftentimes don't discuss. They don't highlight it. They looked at it as doing their job. But it's a real pleasure for us as members of, a member of Congress's office to be able to highlight those specific stories that maybe we don't get to hear about all the time or are perceived by our constituents as just, what it was their job to do, but for the committee to take time to highlight those stories, to paint that picture for us is something that we deeply appreciate. And again, and a certificate and a flag that was flown over the United States Capitol in honor of Donald KEELER. And I'll give Bianca, do you want to say a few words?
And I'll just echo what Colleen said. It's truly an honor to be here, and we're so happy to be able to honor a veteran today and the committee. And we have a letter on behalf of Congressman Delgado to present as well in memory of Mr. KEELER. Thanks.
Please come down.
Sorry for the long
No problem. Have some time. Honored to meet you, sir.
The committee had been standing in before you got here, so thank you for being here. I will now ask New York State Assemblyman Jake Ashby and New York State Assemblyman John McDonald III to come forward.
Well, thank you, Peter, and to the committee, thank you for your continued good work. It's true, it's never easy because there's always very worthy candidates, and obviously you take a very diligent role in making sure that they meet the criteria. And we're very glad that the family was able to join us today to recognize Don. It's interesting when you look, and what I love about these monthly events, whether it's in Albany County or Rensselaer County, and Mike, thank you for your beginning both of those. It gives us an opportunity to know a little bit about those who've served our country and protected it. And, sometimes it's often forgotten, but we're reminded of this daily in our work at the legislature, is that not only are those individuals leaving their families to serve our country, but they're trained. They're given very highly technical training in many aspects. They're taught a skill set that they're able to apply when they come back to work in our area. When they talked about his machinist training and the fact that he worked at Gurley is not really for those who are weak. The Gurley is precision instrumentation, and that's what it's all about. So it reminds us, particularly as our veterans come back and assimilate into our community, that one, we need to support them. We need to continue to enhance our support, not only in regards to housing, but also employment opportunity. On behalf of myself and Jake Ashby, did you want to say something? No, we're good. We're good. On behalf of Jake and myself, we too have a citation from the New York State Assembly remembering your father and thanking him for his service to our country. Thank you.
Tim Forbes from the Rensselaer County Honor Deceased Veteran Committee will present the committee plaque at this time. Will the committee members please stand?
On behalf of the Honor Deceased Veteran Committee, the citizens of Rensselaer County and all the veterans here assembled, please accept this plaque as a symbol of our appreciation for your military service. Thank you very much for allowing us to honor.
Please stand for the closing prayer.
him and his family. Bless him and grant him his family comfort and everlasting peace.
Retire the colors.
Paul. Retrieve colors.